Couples are making a vow to ensure their unions are legally recognized by suing the Ontario government. They, their lawyer, and the minister who married them outlined their legal case at a news conference in Toronto this afternoon. They say it's a step they didn't want to take, but one they had to.
We have shame for our government, shame for those who are attacking us in such disheartening ways. And it's very difficult to go through this process with the mixed feelings of elation and such supreme disappointment at a government at a federal level that calls themselves liberal but acts in every way but, and a provincial government that is not looking after the rights of all of its citizens. And so we have that.
The two gay men and the two lesbians launching the legal case were married last Sunday in Toronto. Well, a funeral has just
officially recognized their marriages. Norman Hermont reports.
Ontario government's refusal
to Elaine and Anne Vautour, to Kevin Bourassa and Joe Varnell. They are already married. Now comes a court challenge to force the Ontario government to recognize that fact.
And we are seeking full and equal status. It's time for Canadians across this country to decide whether we are other or whether we are Canadians.
The couples were married last Sunday using an ancient Christian tradition recognized in Ontario law. But from the start, the province has made its position clear.
Because it doesn't conform with the federal act, it won't be registered. It won't be a registered or recognized legal marriage.
Ottawa says marriages can only be between a man and a woman, and that leaves cities that actually grant licenses stuck in the middle. Toronto, for example, has asked an Ontario court for direction. It's put applications for same-sex marriage licenses on hold until it gets an answer.
The federal and provincial laws seem to indicate that marriage is only a union between a man and a woman, but at the same time, when these matters have been referred to the courts right up until recently, the courts have seemed to indicate that such laws are contrary to the Canadian Charter of Freedoms and Rights.
These couples say they're disappointed. They now have to head to the courts. But they say they're not giving up.
But I am willing to fight for my rights.
The fight for same-sex marriage is going on from Ontario to British Columbia. There are several cases challenging the Federal Marriage Act. But today, justice officials in Ottawa said there are no plans to make any changes. No plans to make same-sex marriage legal. Norman Hermont, CBC News, Toronto.